So we left off last time talking a little bit about using the wand to highlight areas around the object you want to delete and cut out, and how the threshold level of the wand tool kind of gets you a little closer to the edge or a little further from the edge. But in essence, it's a nice little thing to be aware of so that you can control that a little bit more. Usually the default tolerance levels are around like 20, 21, and that's for the most part work just fine. But occasionally you might be cutting um, out an image that is on a gray background or where the colors are really close together. In this case, the contrast between the black and the white is pretty great. So when we select the white, it usually misses entirely any colors that make up the object in the middle. But if you had a darker background where the contrast wasn't as high, then you might want to drop the tolerance level a little bit and just kind of play with it and see what works best for you in that image. So for example, if I set this to 168 and then clicked it, you'll notice it's already bleeding into all the black. But if I start inching this down to the 70s, still bleeds in a little bit up here at the top. And I can go down to like 40s. And that actually misses all the black and gets really close to the edge. So that's what the tolerance level is for. Now, once we delete, let me unclick this background layer, and we have a transparent background. We've deleted all these other little areas. I'm just going to do this real quick and rough here because you'll notice there's still some small white spots we could delete. Saving it. So I'm going to save. Oh, wait, before we save it, just one little thing to be aware of. I'm going to make sure the object is highlighted in the layers box. I'm going to click this little grab tool. I can move it around. Oh, and you'll notice by the armrest there's a highlighted thing from the area from the wand. Let me click the wand one more time. Click outside the area. That'll remove that area down here that was highlighted. And go back to this grab tool. So you can move the image around in the area. In this case, there's not much space for moving it around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on, in Pixlr at least, Edit, Free Transform. And you'll notice once I free transform it, there's these little grabbers in the corner, little boxes I can grab and size it down to where there's a little bit more of a white area around the image. So that looks good. So I'm going to say yes, apply these changes. And if I want, I can move it around. But you can do edit, free transform in order to grab these little handles and make it smaller or bigger. Little tool you'll use for other reasons. Just be aware that you can do that. So hit enter and now it's set. So now let's go ahead and save. You remember I told you that if you save it in a JPEG, which is what most photos are saved in, there's always going to be a white background. So this transparent area around, you just defeated the whole purpose. So the only way you can have a transparent background is to use a PNG. PNG supports transparent backgrounds, and you'll notice it disappeared. So I'm going to hit OK and save it as a PNG. So now if I go to that folder, I'll see I have the same image. One is a JPEG, the other is a PNG. They both essentially look the same, but the PNG actually has a transparent background. Let's see if we can see that here. This is the PNG version, and that's the, or excuse me, that was the JPEG version. This is the PNG version. So it looks a little nicer if you put it on a website that has maybe a colored background, and you could do that with product images to make them stand out more. And it's a nice handy way to do that. So let's go back to our browser. And so that's one thing, that you can do. Now be aware that PNGs can be a larger image as far as file size. So there are tools like Tiny PNG that you can drop the image here and it'll resize it for you and drop it down in size.